Well, hi, and welcome to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection since 1991. I'm Pete Connor, your show's host on this Wednesday, July 5th, the day after Independence Day. Wonderful information for us today on the show. We're going to be first up with Nicole, a couple of Nicoles, I suppose. Nicole Grams, who is the coordinator of the Steele Waseca Drug Court, and along with Nicole will be Nikki Erdman, a graduate of Drug Court, and she'll be telling us a bit of her story. And then we're going to go on to Brad Meier and Kim Schaufenbuel, who will be talking about workforce initiatives coming up here in our area. Before we start all of that, though, we're going to have a reminder for you that we would want your input as to who you would like to see on Owatonna Today. If you've got a person who is in need of some recognition or an organization or an event that needs some publicity, why don't you let us know about that so we can make some contacts. Give us a shout on email at owatonnatoday.charter@charter.net or by calling Leanne at 390-5751. Before we get with our guests, we're going to take a quick break from our sponsors and then we'll move right on. So please do stay with us.
Hi, I'm Brenda with the Mortgage Office of Brenda Bednar, aligned with American Mortgage and Equity Consultants, where closings feel right from the beginning. I'm a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection, and a great welcome to Nicole and Nikki. I was going to say Nicole and Nicole. Are you really Nicole?
I am Nicole,
Nicole,
yes.
Okay, but Nikki.
Yeah, everybody
okay.
calls me Nikki.
And that's not a bad thing, so when we reference Nicole, we'll have a clear definition as to who we're talking with.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you here to talk about the Steele Waseca Drug Court and all the things that happened there, and you know, being a graduate, kind of like an early one, like maybe number one or two, some years ago. We're going to talk about that, your history. Nicole, the history of Steele Waseca Drug Court, how many years now?
Well, Pete, our drug court program started planning back in 2013. There was a group from Waseca and Steele that got together and modeled our program based on what national standard says is a successful drug court. So drug court started back in the early 90s down in Florida. We started our planning in 2013. We launched our program July 1st of 2014. We're coming up on our third year anniversary here on July. We just passed July 1st. And we've seen a lot of growth and changes even in the last 3 years that we've administered the program. Since we've launched the program, we've served over 120 residents of Waseca and Steele County. The residents were high risk, high need, high risk to engage in criminal behavior, and high need based on their chemical dependence. Many of them were subjected to a mandatory prison commits if they didn't receive a program like this. We have had 23 graduates to date. Nikki here was our first graduate here in Owatonna. So she can really kind of show or explain kind of our upstarts and some changes we've made. In the last 3 years, we've been able to acquire an enhancement grant that's been able to help improve the quality of care as far as mental health services in our program. And then as of January 1st of this year, we were able to acquire a grant that allowed us to launch a DWI track to be able to target just that DWI behavior within our program. We have had roughly 45 or so that have exited the program by termination or withdrawal. Those individuals have subsequently went on to serve incarceration time after they withdrew from the program. And today we're serving at about 55 participants between the two sites. So our program is still fairly new. What we'd like to do as the program continues to grow is continue to track recidivism rates after folks have graduated from our program so that we can show that we're in alliance with what the national standard says we should be in. And what the national studies say is that drug court graduates remain arrest-free at a rate of 75% of graduates from drug courts remain arrest-free at least 2 years after they graduate from the program. So we're very excited to be approaching our third year. We will be having a picnic, an award banquet on July 26th at Brown Park here in Owatonna over the noon hour from 11:30 to 1:30 to recognize some of our community partners. Our program has a lot of involvement with other criminal justice partners. We have teams at each site that are comprised of treatment professionals, law enforcement, probation, judges, county attorneys, public defenders, mental health professional, treatment professionals. And then we also have a steering committee that's comprised of department heads of respective entities as well as community involvement so that we can really show that we have the best interests of the community at heart when we're administering this program.
Yeah. So, there are consequences, understanding that is that, so Nikki, the consequence of your not being in drug court was what?
I had 81 months mandatory commit for my second degree controlled substance that I entered the program for, and then I had another 15 years mandatory commit for a fourth degree sales charge that I entered drug court for.
So you would have gone someplace for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah. And instead of doing that, you chose, and it was a choice, wasn't it? I mean, you were given an opportunity, right, to go to drug court. And that opportunity is now, the consequence of that means what to you today? Your sobriety, of course, and then what else? What are the positives that have come into your life since then?
I got to stay at home with my son and be a better mom. I've made a lot of new friends in the recovery area. I help out a lot still with drug court with new participants coming in and try to show them the ropes and just being involved. And that's what's important to me and helps me stay sober.
And how long have you been sober now?
I had 3 years sober on May 1st.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Congratulations. That's excellent. Yeah. Being a participant of drug court and maintaining your sobriety has opened, some other doors for you. What's happening or going to be happening with you going forward?
I'm looking into going back to school. I would like to go for licensed alcohol and drug counseling. I've also talked to Nicole about doing Recovery Coach, which is a program that you take and then, to help out more with drug court and stuff too.
So no, there's a team that you worked with, a drug court team. Is that part of the organization? And what was it? What impact did they have in your recovery?
They cared about me, and it wasn't just that I was a person to them or I was just a case file. Like they cared about, me going forward and bettering my life, because a lot of the things that you do in drug court, you have your recovery meetings, they want you to get your GED or diploma if you don't have that, they want you to get your license, they want you to be on top of child support,
Yeah. So it's expectations driven, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the point of it all is that it just isn't, you get to stay out of jail because, which is important, of course.
Right.
But there are expectations of things that you have to, employment, as you suggested, getting your driver's license and the like, and it goes on from there. Nicole, people who are helping with the teams, where are they coming from? Where do people come from to participate in the Steele Waseca Drug Court?
As far as the teams, it's quite interesting because we've seen a shift in how day-to-day practice has occurred within the criminal justice system. So we've heard judges comment how, historically I thought drug offenders needed to go off to prison, and prosecutors say, historically I thought that we needed to incarcerate these people, and treatment providers saying, historically we thought we were a separate entity from the courts. And so the folks that serve on our teams have seen a change, and they're talking about, we believe this is the best route for public safety because we're treating the core behaviors that get these folks into the justice system. We're giving them the support, the structure that they need so that they can be successful long term, and we won't continue to see them revolve through our doors. The treatment professionals talk about we are reinforced in everything we do, and we're being more effective in our treatment programming. So the folks that serve on our teams, we've seen kind of a shift and change in the day-to-day practice that they're doing. Our steering committee, which are comprised of a county commissioner from each site and a resident representative from each site, and as well as department heads from human services and prosecutors and law enforcement. They're committed to making sure that we continue to administer a terrific program, but also that what we're doing works. And so we continue to be evaluated by our financial sources, and we continue to show that we're doing what the research has told us to do. And I think everybody has talked about this has been a really rewarding experience for them to be involved in this.
There's an investment then. You've invested time, you've invested effort, you've invested really a whole life-changing program for yourself.
Yeah.
So it's an investment, and the payoff is, as you have articulated. What's the payoff of the program? If people who are watching this, taxpayers and all that, and so here's a government program, another one. But what's the payoff?
So what we look at is cost avoidance. It's $42,000 annually to incarcerate somebody in our prison. The cost to have children in foster care is phenomenal. What's really difficult to measure is somebody who has had a long history of not being employed. Now they're employed, they're paying taxes, they're paying for their own housing expenses, they're paying for health insurance, they're raising their children, drug-free babies that are being born, which is really difficult to measure the cost savings with those folks not being as challenged in the start of their life. So we look at it as an investment as a citizen, but also in the end, it's saving lives, and you can't really put a dollar amount on that.
Right. Yeah. And your life is being saved every day as you reflect on it, I'm sure.
It is.
Yeah.
Nikki, how has this changed your life?
It's made me a better person. I'm a better mother. I'm a better daughter. I'm a better friend. So, all around, I'm a better person. I'm a better sister. Like me and my brother weren't talking anymore, and now we're talking again. And so,
yeah.
Yeah.
And when employment, you are working.
Yes, I am working part-time right now.
Yeah. So, and ultimately, that's going to change to some full-time work where
Yes.
you just don't know really what the opportunities. You know what the opportunities were like when you were using.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're pretty narrow.
Yep. Prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
Death.
Yeah, death, yeah. And now you know that the opportunities are just wherever you think you want to go. And it's a simple program, but it's sometimes not easy.
No, it's not. And it was really difficult for me the first year. I was miserable the first year being sober, but I kept on the right track, and things turned around for me. And
excellent, nice. It's great. It's great news. It's a great story, and it's a great story that we have in our two counties. And I want to thank you both for coming to share your stories.
Thank you.
Because it's important for all of us to know what is going on. How are we doing with all of this? So thanks again for being here, and best wishes going forward.
Thank you.
And thank
Thanks,
you for
Pete.
being with us today. We're going to take a brief break for some sponsor messages, and then we'll be right back. So please don't go away.
The River Springs Water Park is open for the summer. Come with family and friends to enjoy the many features the water park has to offer. For more information on daily specials, programs, and large group packages, visit our website, call the water park at 774-7370, or find them on the River Springs Water Park Facebook page. Make a big splash this summer at the River Springs Water Park.
I'm Dan Branstead of Carlson Branstead & Company, Certified Public Accountants. We support the Owatonna Today Show.
Hello, my name is Katie Marshall. A year ago, my family and I became homeless. We were scared and alone. Today, with the help of Steele County Transitional Housing and generous donors like you, my family and I are safely housed. I am working, going to college, paying my rent on time. My children have a warm bed to sleep in every night. My family and I are so grateful for this second chance. Please help others in need by donating to transitional housing today. Everyone deserves a safe place to live.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection, and a warm welcome to Kim Schaufenbuel and Brad Meier. Hello.
Hi.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
To talk about something that I just think is sort of a, if we talk about diversity in different terms, a United Way director and a chamber director talking about workforce initiatives.
Yeah.
It's kind of a marriage of different interests, maybe.
Sure,
We're
sure.
going to find out.
That's why it's such a great fit.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually.
We call it the dream team. Come on.
That's right.
Well, you can call it whatever you want. Because there are hopes and there are, you have some aspirations as to what it's going to be. Brad, first, chamber director, workforce. It's always kind of underpinning of what it is that you do as an organization. So that would not be a real mystery as to what's happening. How did this become a reality as far as the chamber is concerned?
Well, the biggest thing is that our employers are in need of folks, and there's an element with our relationship with the school district where we haven't had as good a connection in being able to talk with students and young people about what opportunities there are here. And so I think because of those things, it's really just brought it to the forefront of there's a need on both sides of the equation where we need to do a better job, both as a business community and as a community as a whole, to address it.
There's from scriptures, there's no new things under the earth. Right, no new thing, and this is like for me. This is an old idea that just is roaring right back.
Exactly.
We used to do this.
Yeah, yes.
When I was working at the tool company, we used to do this.
That's right.
And it goes away, and someone says, "Hey, that worked. Why don't we do that again?"
Yeah.
The United Way influence or impact, however, is new. It is different.
Yes, absolutely. So, we're really looking to make sure that every family in Steele County has the opportunity to have a stable family life, to have a stable income, to have a chance to be able to be financially stable. That's a really big, important part of our new look on the community, is that we want to make sure that we are reducing the number of people living at or below 200% of the federal poverty level, and making sure that everybody has living wage jobs is a big part of it. So, from our perspective, making sure that we are connecting students that are leaving high school that may not already have a career path to existing jobs in the community is really meeting that need.
So, and what number of people are, what's the percentage of young people that would fit that description?
Well, we keep hearing from Mark Randall that that's about 25% of the kids in high school are probably not planning on going to high school.
Yeah. That's meaningful.
College.
Sure.
Yes, yes.
That's a meaningful statistic. A full quarter of the population, of the graduating class.
The thing has been that the schools are doing a variety of things to try to give kids the opportunities, but what we've found is that it kind of became decentralized a little bit, and so you've got a lot of teachers doing a lot of different things, but not maybe as cohesive of a plan, both from the business side, like our companies maybe aren't sure who exactly they should be communicating with, and then on the school side, it's there's this program here for mentorships, and then there's this over here for apprenticeships and things of that nature, but it's a little bit kind of throughout and a little bit scattered. I guess I think the school would even agree with that as well. And so we're working really closely with the schools and then with our community partners to try to make this something that is more efficient and more usable for both the students and the businesses.
It seems to me that there are some outlying partners that we haven't really talked about. Riverland is an example, South Central up in Faribault, in terms of some of the technical, the trades kinds of places for young people to explore, to go to.
That's right.
And ultimately, I would guess that they would also play into that. When you consider the kinds of things that 25%, members of that 25% are going to become involved in, what are they? What are some of the skills, the learning, the occupations that they're going to become involved in? I'll just lay that out to them.
Yeah, Brad, I would love for you to talk about some of those kind of skilled labor jobs or different things that are available. That we're
Yeah, well, so 30% of our workforce is in manufacturing, but what that looks like can be different for different people, of course. So what we're trying to do is give students an opportunity to at least see what that looks like. So whether it's the program that we call Made in Owatonna Day, that it's the Chamber United Way, Junior Achievement, and the Bosch Community Fund funds it, where we're getting 160 kids out into industries, not just manufacturing, but across the board to see what those opportunities look like. And we're seeing an increase thanks to the work of the United Way, where we're surveying the kids ahead of it and then after. And there's much more interest in these jobs after they've gone through and seen what this looks like. So that's been important. And then the other pieces are whether it's having them get out into a business for an interview or to follow in somebody's footsteps as a mentor or as an apprentice and things of that nature, where we really want to work with what we're calling a workforce coordinator to grow that. And it's a position that's been there for a couple of years, and this is through the United Way's work of funding it. But we have a new partnership there as well.
So 2 years ago, we had received a Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthy Communities grant.
Sure.
And we called this a career counselor job readiness program when we received that grant. And part of the work there was having a counselor be at the high school, focusing on those kids that might not be going to college, to set up a career plan with them and to make sure that they're assessing both their interests and their skills to be able to match them to local opportunities. Now, I think the biggest part of this, for especially the United Way part, is the building of the networks. Because if you think of low-income kids whose families might not have really strong connections in the community, might not have resources that they can call on to say, hey, my kid needs to have some training in this or some mentoring, that it's building those inherent networks in the community so that every child, every family has access to the same types of pathways that everybody else does.
Yeah. And with no disrespect to the discipline, it isn't all about IT.
Right.
Because not everybody can be in IT. There are a lot of things that things that need to be manufactured need to have people in a production environment doing those things.
Right.
And so part of it, I suppose, is having them understand who they are and what they're capable of doing and what they might enjoy doing.
Well, that's a big part of it. You've got 25% of graduating seniors that don't know exactly what they want to do, but then you have 75% that are going to college that aren't finished, and there's a percentage of those that aren't finishing either. And so what we're saying is our best shot is to give them the opportunities and see what opportunities are here, because if they're from here, they're more likely to live and reside eventually in the community or around the community that they grew up in. And so we'd like to make sure that they know what's here.
And that's another great point, is that we're not only working with the schools in this respect, we're also working with community education and working with some of those folks that might maybe even have a GED or that are coming back through the community having gone to a year or a year and a half or something of college and didn't complete. So we're trying to keep a big focus on the young people in our community that can really help staff those open positions that are going on, that are our future really in leadership and making sure that our community is healthy.
Recruitment is an issue, and it seems like it's always signs on banners on walls and signs outside of places, And it doesn't have to be people coming from inside if we can do a better job of keeping people inside, in a way. One thing that I'd like to, let's talk about job retention. In other words, I'm an HR guy. We talked about the soft skills, which to me are the hard skills. The skills that are most difficult are the ones that we're going to talk about: human interaction, about getting along with people, playing well together. How does the program address those? If it does.
Well, I think that's always going to be part of working with students and talking about the opportunities that they have and getting them ready for that. So how do you dress? What questions should you be asking? That type of thing. Now, granted, this workforce coordinator position is not going to be able to do everything, but he or she, and we're working on hiring this person right now through our partnership, that's going to be an element of, or at least working with. And, the teachers also do a terrific job of trying to prepare the students for those kind of opportunities, and that's what we want to continue to kind of push forward. And you got to show up on time, and you can't leave early. And
we're talking about kids that are junior seniors, typically?
Well, actually, Mark Randall has a vision for working with all of the high school kids to make sure that they have access to some sort of this type of training and this type of exposure to the local job pool.
Okay, and it might even go deeper than that someday too, in terms of getting youngsters, acclimated to the idea.
Well, and that's kind of where it's already with junior achievement. They work very strongly in the elementary schools and middle school and that kind of thing. And so there's things there happening. We got to just keep bringing it to the forefront.
Perfect. Well, we're going to stay tuned and follow this one. And thanks for being here to share what you have. And we'll come back, I know, to talk more about it. And thank you for being with us today. We're going to take some time for some messages, and we'll be right back. So do stay with us.
Amy Swain Hearing Centers is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show. I'm Dr. Amy Swain, and I want everyone to hear better.
Hi, this is Barry Gillespie, president of ERA Gillespie Real Estate, where our pledge is to save you money, save you time, and simplify your life. And we're proud supporters of the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. A few announcements, community announcements. We've got Movies in the Park continuing on Friday, July 14th at Brown Park. We're going to have The Great Outdoors. The movie, that's just looking at the pictures, you might want to see that one. Looks like it's a funny show. And then on August 12th, there will be another one. Look for the movie on the Facebook page for the organization. Movies begin at sunset. Pre-movie activities begin an hour before movie time. So take a look at that. 7th Annual Weekend Out, July 14th through 16th. Lots of things happening in town through Park and Rec and others. Take a look at the website, the Park and Rec website for that. You might want to stay tuned for that weekend. Penny George Institute for Health and Healing at the Owatonna Hospital has expanded its retail services by adding Healing Touch and Wellness Coaching. To learn more about programs and services at Owatonna Hospital's Penny George Institute Outpatient Clinic, visit alinahealth.org. To make an appointment, call 507-977-2828. And that's going to take care of it for today. Please do come back on Friday when we will have Erin McGee from the National Parkinson Foundation and Steele County Historical Society Extravaganza with Stephanie Kibler and Jerry Ganfield. We'll look forward to having you back then. Thanks for being here today.